tarehe 6 mwezi Septemba mwaka wa 2022, siku moja tu baada ya mahakama ya upeo nchini Kenya kuweza kutoa uamuzi kuhusiana na kesi ya urais iliyokuwa imewasilishwa katika mahakama hiyo na muungano wa Azimio kupinga kutangazwa kwa rais mteule William Ruto kama rais wa taifa la Kenya. Mahali popote ambapo ulipo, hujambo na karibu katika matangazo ya uchaguzi nchini Kenya mwaka wa 2022 katika runinga unaoenzi ya Mwanzo TV. Mimi naitwa Victor Wanaswa, na kwa moyo mkunjufu na kukaribisha tu andamane kuanzia sasa hadi tamati. Tumekuandalia mengi kuhusiana na uamuzi na masuala ambayo yaliweza kufuata baada ya tamko la majaji 7 wa mahakama ya upeo. Katika awamu yetu ya pili tutakuwa na wakili Lodrick Chirchir ambaye atakuwa anatusaidia katika kufafanua na kupambanua kuhusu masuala ya kisheria kuambatana na kesi hiyo. Hivyo basi nakusihi utembelee tu ukurasa wetu wa mitandao ya kijamii kwa maana ya Facebook, Twitter na pia Instagram, tukipatikana kama @Mwanzo TV, na vile vile tembelea YouTube channel yetu tukipatikana kama Mwanzo TV, uweze kulike ndiposa usiweze kupitwa na lolote. Tuanze hivi. Rais mteule wa Kenya William Ruto ameshikilia kuwa atawahudumia Wakenya wote bila kuegemea upande uliomchagua katika kutekeleza majukumu yake kama rais wa 5 wa taifa la Kenya. Ruto anasema kuwa wakati wa siasa umeisha na ni wakati wa kutekeleza ahadi waliotoa kwa Wakenya wakati wa kampeni.
Competitive electoral politics can make and has made our politics an arena utterly devoid of grace. This fills the life of political candidates with loneliness, worry, and exaggerated sense that the stakes are do or die, and elections therefore matters of life and death. It poisons political competition, exterminating the sporting spirit which unites winners and losers by enabling them to access the grace to define their relationship in terms of what they share and not what divides them. Democracy is expected to unite a people, strengthen their society, and improve their institutions, and must not become an acrimonious, fearful, and desperate enterprise. We offered alternative visions and missions and submitted to the sovereign decision of the citizens of Kenya. We are only competitors, not enemies. We vied to unite and strengthen Kenya, not to divide and weaken it. I therefore consider all of my competitors to be my worthy compatriots. Kenyans are united in the quest for a better society that is kinder to its children, gentler on the vulnerable, respectful of their rights, and committed to serving them. Those who voted for me, as well as those who voted for my competitors, want the same thing for themselves and for their children. I honor this aspiration, and I am committed to do and to rise up early, work hard all day, every day, so that we can realize it together.
Na rais anayeondoka Uhuru Kenyatta amesisitiza kujitolea kwake kusimamia shughuli ya kukabidhi mamlaka rais mteule William Ruto. Rais Kenyatta amesema kuwa atatiki hapo cha kuzingatia sheria na kuheshimu maamuzi ya mahakama ya upeo.
When I was sworn in as your president, I made a pledge to the country. A pledge to uphold the rule of law and the decisions made by the judiciary on all matters appertaining to our governance. Today, the Supreme Court made a ruling on the presidential dispute, upholding the results announced by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission on the 15th of August, 2022. And in keeping to the pledge that I made to uphold the rule of law when I took the oath of office, I commit to executing the orders of this court to the letter. The process of handing over is in progress through the Assumption of Office Committee, which actually has already begun its work as of August 10th, 2022. And indeed, it is my intention to oversee a smooth transition to the next administration, and all the necessary orders to facilitate this process have already been issued. And because democracy is a work in progress, I urge the country to respect the institutions that midwife our new leaders. And in doing so, I also urge citizens to constantly put them under scrutiny, for this is the civic duty of every single Kenyan.
Na tukisonga mbele ni kuwa mawakili kutoka upande wa Azimio la Umoja na Kenya Kwanza wamezungumza kuhusu uamuzi uliotolewa na mahakama ya upeo. Mawakili wa Azimio wamesema wamekubaliana na uamuzi huo japo hawajaridhishwa, huku mawakili wa Kenya Kwanza wakikumbatia uamuzi huo kwa mikono miwili.
The decision, but we do not agree with it. And I am saying this as a seasoned practitioner that courts sometimes make mistakes which have to be corrected over time. Courts make political decisions, as you know.
And we want to thank God also for the Supreme Court Justice and the CJ for the unanimous decision. It makes it easier for the Kenyans to move on. And we want to say to all Kenyans that Kenya Kwanza government will not be just for the Kenya Kwanza supporters. It is a government for all the Kenyans. So do not feel left out as a Kenyan. Our doors are open. You belong here. We pray that there will...
It's been a very, very engaging period, and we are thankful. It has now ended. The time for court cases has ended. The time to assemble a new team has now started. We now move forward as one country.
Na baada ya mahakama ya upeo kutupilia mbali kesi iliyokuwa imewasilishwa na kiongozi wa Azimio la Umoja Raila Odinga, swali ibuka sasa ni je, nini mwelekeo wa kiongozi huyo wa Azimio? Tulizungumza na mchanganuzi wa masuala ya kisheria.
Baada ya uamuzi
siasa za Kenya haziwezi malizika kama hujampa kiongozi wa upinzani tunasema chapter yake. Amechangia kwa kiasi kikubwa ukuaji wa demokrasia wa nchi hii kwa miaka mingi, na kwa hivyo binafsi nampa nafasi kubwa kwamba amefanya yake, licha kwamba hajafanikiwa kuwa rais ambayo imekuwa ndoto yake kwa muda mrefu, lakini ule mchango wake hatuwezi ondoa. Unasema mgala muwe na haki yake mpesio. Kwa hivyo amefanya yake, na tukienda mbele kama ataamua kuritaka kutoka siasa, itakuwa yani amefanya yale ambayo tuseme Mungu alikuwa amempa wakati wake kufanya. Na ni ombi langu kwamba rais ambaye anaingia ampe ile utambulisho kwamba huyu ni kiongozi wa nchi. Kusikwe na matofaruku, magombano, kwa sababu Raila ni mzee, anahitaji ile heshima kuwa amekuwa kiongozi wetu, amechangia pakubwa kukuaja demokrasia, ako na maono mengi ambayo anaweza tusaidia bado kama mzee wa jamii kuendelesha iendelee mbele. Kwa hivyo tumpe ile nafasi yake rais ambaye kuja, si lazima tukue na ile handshake ambayo imekuanga tangu mwaka wa 2018, lakini kumuita kunywe chai vile alivyoashiria kabla ya uchaguzi mkuu itakuwa vyema, na itakuwa kielelezo kwamba hata wale 6 million ambao walimpigia kura watakuwa wanaridhika kwamba wako pia ndani ya serikali. Kwa hivyo wampe nafasi baada huu muda ambao tuseme ni ule muda kujilewaza na kufikiria, wapatane na rais mteule, waongee mambo ambayo watajenga nchi. Kwa hivyo Raila Odinga kwa mimi ni shujaa, kwa sababu bila yeye kuna hizi process ambazo zimekuwa zikifanyika kwenye mahakama hatungekuwa nazo. Kwa hivyo tumtambue kama kiongozi, kama shujaa wa Kenya kidemokrasia, na tumpe nafasi yake kama elder.
Na mkumbuka kiongozi huyo wa Azimio hiyo jana aliweza kutuma taarifa kwa vyombo vya habari akisema kwamba amekubaliana na uamuzi wa mahakama hata ingawa hajaridhishwa na uamuzi huo, na akasema kwamba atakuwa anatoa mwelekeo ambao utakuwa unazungumza kuhusu ni mwelekeo upi ambao atakuwa anachukua wa kisiasa kuendelea mbele, kwa kuwa tunafahamu kwamba kwa sasa kile ambacho kitakuwa kinafuata ni uapisho wa rais mteule William Ruto ifikapo tarehe 13 mwezi huu, ndiposa aweze kuchukua majukumu ya kuwa rais wa taifa hili la Kenya rasmi kuanzia hapo. Na jinsi nilivyokuwa nimekuarifu ni kwamba tuko naye studioni wakili Lodrick Chirchir ambaye atakuwa anatusaidia katika kufafanua kuhusiana na uamuzi huo wa mahakama ya upeo na masuala ambayo yatakuwa yanafuata. Karibu sana wakili studioni.
Yes, thank you very much my brother. It's an honor to be back again. My name is Lodrick Chirchir. Yeah, and I'm happy to be back. It's an honor.
Now, yesterday all the 7 judges unanimously endorsed the result that President-elect William Ruto was elected in a free and fair manner. What is your take about the judgment first?
Yeah, as I told you earlier, this was going to happen because these guys didn't have the standards of proof. Their case was so down. So I expected this, but I didn't expect that it was going to be a unanimous decision, because now it turned out that they also agreed with what all of us was thinking. And that is a very good move for democracy. That is a very good progress for us. We are doing really good.
And the fact that all the judges upheld the victory of William Ruto.
Yes.
What does that mean in terms of the independence of the Supreme Court?
Yeah, the independence of the judiciary in general has been a very serious problem in most of the African countries, and not just our African country, but also other countries around the world. You saw what happened in the US, where the US Capitol was attacked. So it was really what was not expected that such a thing would happen. And I'm so happy that our democracy is now maturing, and we are now getting better in how we are doing our things. And by that virtue, it is showing us that really we have a future to even improve more in our democracy. So it is something that it is a growth, it is a process, and that showed the world that really Kenya is a mature democracy and our judiciary is world class.
After the verdict, many Kenyans are asking, what next?
Yes.
From where you sit, what can you say about the next move in terms of what Kenyans are going to expect in the coming days?
All right. What we expect in the coming days, number one, is the swearing in of the president-elect. The first Tuesday after the verdict, that will be on the first Tuesday after the 7 days of the verdict. That will be next Tuesday, date 13th. So the assumption of the office committee I've taken over now. I just heard this morning that everything is almost ready, and in the near future we will not be expecting more dramas, because now everyone will understand very well that before you go to the Supreme Court, you have to have watertight evidence against your opponent, so that you cannot go there and present things which are not real. You heard what the Supreme Court said yesterday, that they are not going to entertain people who swear fake evidence or forgery, because now it will show that you do not even respect the rule of the law, and that is contempt of court. So in the near future, as our late counsel for UDA, former AG Emeritus, said yesterday, that in the near future we are not expecting more dramas.
And then the outgoing president, Uhuru Kenyatta, spoke yesterday and disagreed with the verdict of the 7 judges, yes. Even as he said that he will be respecting the verdict. Yes. What do you make of that statement from the head of state?
Yeah, that statement was very vague. I expected him, number one, to congratulate the president-elect. But it showed that in some way, maybe there was some personal vendetta against the president-elect. But what I love about him is that he admitted that he was going to hand over power to the one who has been elected, and he will oversee the process. He will make sure that all that has been planned and that has been instructed by the law was going to be passed as it should be. So though there was a lot of vague statements in his statement, I am so happy that his legacy and his best legacy, as Mutula Kilonzo Jr. said, that his legacy should be to hand over the power to the next person. And that was really good of him. I was so impressed, because most people were not expecting that. But at the end of the day, he suggested something that I thought maybe we should really look at it, because he suggested that Kenyans should really see how our institutions are performing. They should really check our institutions, how they are performing. But I love that he said that he will oversee the handing over of power. Yeah.
The fact that I disagreed with the verdict, even though he said that he will be overseeing a smoother transition, do you think the head of state will be attending the swearing in of our president-elect? And if not, what will be the implication of that?
Unfortunately, we are not so sure of whether he will really attend or fail to attend the inauguration of the president-elect, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. But you know, it is his constitutional mandate to hand over. So by yesterday, by his statement yesterday saying that he's going to hand over or he's going to see the transition through, it suggested something out of it. It suggested that he will be also ready to attend that inauguration, and we expect him to attend, so that he can complete what he promised Kenyans, that he will hand over the power to the next person in line. So yeah, I expect him to be there too, though I'm not so sure.
And then yesterday, Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu said that when they had retreated to write the judgment, a lot of people called them.
Yes.
In your opinion, who do you think were the people calling them, and for what reason?
Yeah, there are many reasons to explain that. We don't really know who called them, but he said most of you called us. So I believe, or I think he was referring to the counsels or the lawyers who were in that particular setup, and also the other people who we do not know, by the fact that it still remains a fact that the deep state was very disparate. The system was very disparate. To stop in any way what had been done already by all Kenyans voting, and by them trying to call them, maybe they were trying to influence them. I'm not saying this with a surety of certainty. But I think some people are trying to call them to make sure that they influence the decision that was going to be made yesterday. But I love how all these judges responded by saying that we decided that we were not going to pick any calls, and that was a very good move, because now we understood that they understood their role very well. They knew that any calls could interfere with the ruling, anything that could deter them from making a wise and the correct decision could affect millions of Kenyans who unanimously voted for one person they loved most.
Let's talk about the Uhuru statement yesterday.
Yeah.
He posed a question that is not all about the numbers, but the process. And
Yes.
I'm going to ask you the same question. Is it about the numbers or the process?
I think it is both per se. It is about the process and the numbers, because the process comes up with the numbers. If we do not go through the process, then there would be no numbers. There would be a lot of quagmire everywhere. There would be a lot of haywire in every side, because now without the process of IEBC ensuring that they have some very perfect kind of voting turn up and voting process, we cannot have the number. So I think that was, in my opinion, it is kind of both, because if we do not have both, I don't think we can have a president. Though I also think that by him saying, he was trying to insinuate something by saying that though Kenyans voted, it is not always about the majority. And I agree with him. Sometimes that is the problem with democracy. One of the major problems with democracy is that the majority will have their way and the minority will have their say. And by the majority having their way, the minority will have, with good opinions, will not have their opinions aired. Why? Because now the majority have said it. So that is a weakness with democracy. And because Kenya is a democratic country, it doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter how you think. It is always like that. You cannot change a fact that has happened.
All the 8 prayers that were contained in the petition by Azimio were dismissed by the Supreme Court. What does that talk about the petition presented before the Supreme Court?
Somebody said yesterday the lorry was full of hot air. They presented issues which were not really emanating from the election itself. And as I told you last time, petition number 8 was the big elephant in the house. And you had me tell you that petition number 8 was talking about the issues that the president should be like elected by majority of the 50+1. And this president, it should be very clear that he won the elections by a big margin, as not to just suggest nullification of elections. We saw one of the issues by Azimio was that they were going to present that all the rejected ballot should be part and parcel of the total turnout of voters. And unfortunately, you saw the Supreme Court disagreed with that. And that means, in my opinion, all the evidences and issues that were presented by Azimio turned out to be purely hot air, as CJ Gomez said.
And then the move by IEBC chair to announce the presidential results when 4 commissioners had distanced themselves from the results at the final stage of the tallying at Bomas of Kenya. That was not also dismissed by the court.
Yes.
But they did not. They said the IEBC chair was not in order to do that. What is your say on that?
You heard him right. CJ Koome made it very clear that there is a role played by the commission under Article 138(3) of the Constitution, and there is a role played by the chairperson under Article 138 10C of the Constitution. And the role played by the Commission as a whole included tallying and verification of the voters, and the other part is done by the chairperson of the IBC. He said, however, she made herself very clear that whatever the decision that has been done by all the commissioners, they really took part in the entire process, and also the chairperson himself included them in the entire process. It could have been very unconstitutional if the chairperson had decided to do the verification and the tallying of the election results himself, but included all of them. However, all these other commissioners, the 4 commissioners, were suggesting that they were not part of the process. But I told you about judicial notice sometimes, that the court was there when all these things was happening. So you cannot lie to court that these things which have never happened. So in fact, the court was there. They saw all the commissioners, including Commissioner Nyang'aya and other commissioners, Cherera, announcing the results. So it happened, and these things which happened were real. So it is not something that changed anything, and the court was there. Yes.
And the president-elect yesterday, in his speech to the nation, or his address to the nation after the High Court or the Supreme Court made the verdict, said that he will be making the first move to conduct the outgoing president, and insisting that they had not spoke for months. Do you believe him?
I believe him, because we have really seen what has been happening between the president and the deputy president for years. Since 2018, we saw what happened when the handshake came in. The deputy president was sidelined. Just this morning, I saw the video where he was really thrown out at Bomas when the president and the handshake brother were having a meeting, and he was left outside. He was really locked out. So I believe it really has not happened. They have not made any contact. However, we cannot say with a surety or certainty that they haven't even made a call. Sometimes these things appear. We know the politicians, they can say something which is not real, but I really believe due to the circumstances surrounding that matter, that those things actually happen, that maybe really they have not made contact in months. So yeah, we'll see what will happen next Tuesday. It will determine whether they have really made the contact or not.
And then William Ruto, the president-elect, is taking this country when the country is like split into two, because judging from the number of votes he garnered, he got 7 million, and his close competitor, Raila Odinga, garnered 6 million. What is the best way that the president-elect must, or what is the best strategies that he must employ to make sure that he unites the country going forward?
I love how Kenyans have said it. They have said that we have accepted and we have moved on. And even politicians aligned to Azimio have made it very clear that they have accepted and moved on. You heard the president-elect yesterday say that I will be working for all Kenyans. Whether you voted for me, you voted for the other party, or you didn't vote at all, I will work for all Kenyans fairly and squarely. So there are some recommendations that I would have made if I was to meet the president-elect today, that he should visit all those sites which are believed to have been strongholds of the other of the Azimio party. He should go there and launch some development programs so that those areas can feel that they are part of the sitting government, so that we can all go forward together. The country has been left in a very serious situation of economic crisis. The high cost of living, as witnessed by all of us. So I believe the president-elect should first rush to the things that matter, to reduce the cost of living with immediate effect, so that Kenyans can feel really there is change in governance, that we have new people, we have new air that we are breathing, so that at the end of the day, all of us will benefit. And I expect that all these issues will affect all Kenyans. It doesn't matter where you come from, the tribe, and any other thing that might affect that. I believe that is the best way to go forward. Yeah.
And then we witnessed a lot of defections, or rather political leaders crossing to Kenya Kwanza, maybe in the anticipation that there will be a rerun, so that in case of a rerun, the Kenya Kwanza side or the president-elect will garner more votes. Now there is no rerun. What next in terms of these are political leaders who have been crossing the line, going to the other side? Will they be getting any position in government?
As you have said, it's very correct. There has been a lot of movements. We have seen people from Azimio moving over to the Kenya Kwanza side, including one of the MPs from Nyanza province. But I believe the best way to help your people is when you are in government. I don't believe people should move over for self-benefit. I believe people should move over because they want to help their people to be part of government, so that development agendas can be part of their areas. The development agendas can take place in their area of jurisdiction and their residence. So I believe it shouldn't be something that you want to benefit yourself. Now you move on from Azimio side to Kenya Kwanza side because you want to benefit from something that you want the government to help you, but because you want to help your people have a better move, you want to help your people benefit from the government of this time. So I believe people should not move. It shows even disloyalty to your own party, but I believe as you heard the president-elect yesterday saying that the other side was those of forced to enter into a coalition. We don't really know whether that happened, but yeah, if it happened, it is very undemocratic and unconstitutional that people are forced to be part of a coalition by government. It is very undemocratic, but people should be allowed to make their political choices without being coerced, threatened, bribed, or anything. They should just be allowed to make their own political choices going forward. And as you heard yesterday, all these other independent institutions of government will not be used for political settling and vendetta, so that going forward, our country will mature even more in terms of democracy. We are becoming even a threat to the United States of America because we did the best elections of all times since independence. No country in Africa has done that. South Africa is having a lot of challenges. Egypt, the same thing. Even US, there was attack in the capital, in DC. So I think we are maturing, and that is a very good move. We thank God.
Let's talk about the Azimio leader, Raila Odinga.
Yes.
He said yesterday that he will be announcing his next move. From where you sit, what do you think is going to be his contribution going forward in the politics of Kenya?
Opposition. You heard the president-elect yesterday say that I will only allow you to function as to check our governance, as to play your role as opposition. So we don't really know what he meant by he's going to make a move, but what we know for sure is that he is an opposition leader. Now, constitutionally, he's an opposition leader, and we expect him to do the job perfectly by checking the government, by checking how the government is performing, by ensuring that everything being done by government is not going in the wrong direction. So we expect him to do a perfect job in that side.
And then Kenya as a country has been fighting for moving away from the winner takes it all. Should we expect to see some of the leaders from Azimio getting opportunities in government?
Government doesn't work like that. how government performs, there are always two factions of government: the opposition and the government in place. The government in place plays the role of the executive as stipulated under Article 130 to 157 of the Constitution. Now, the opposition plays the role of checking this governance. Now, what the winner takes it all, what Ruto meant when he said that in Bomas at the BBI launching, he meant that what was going to happen from the BBI was that the president had powers to dismiss his deputy. The president had powers to dismiss all the prime ministers and the deputy prime ministers. So, like, in that aspect, people could be sent home by the president with a blink of an eye. So what the president meant was that the deputy president should be given an opportunity to do his job without being threatened, coerced, and his people of his factions being forced to do things they don't want. So per se, what I think this thing about the winner takes it all is about is ensuring that everybody plays his role as the Constitution has stipulated, and everybody does the right thing as the Constitution has stipulated.
And then finally, what does Ruto's victory, both at the August 9th election and also the verdict by the Supreme Court, means to the neighbors of Kenya like Tanzania and Uganda?
Yeah, I mean, you saw what Ugandans posted on their Twitter and Tanzanians on their Twitter accounts immediately after the elections. They were saying that Kenya shouldn't be part of Africa, because now as Kenyans we are really moving forward in terms of democracy. And by the way, all other civilized nations in the world are learning from us. They couldn't believe such a thing was going to happen. They couldn't believe Kenyans can have a very peaceful elections with no challenges. They are not believing what is really going on. So it is a very good lesson for them. It is a lesson that they should emulate, because now this is something that is really moving us ahead. So I believe it is a very good motivation for them to learn from us and to understand that power is transient, and to understand that power should be given when your time is up. It is not about being taken. You give it up when your time is up. Yeah. Give it to the winner. So, and they also learn that independent institutions should not be used for political reasons. So in Uganda, you still see the opposition leader Bobi Wine crying all day, saying that they have been attacked by police, they have been arrested, they have been threatened, coerced, and all those things that surround that aspect. So I think they are learning from us, and I think they should emulate what we are really doing.
Thank you so much, Wakili, for coming and also for sharing your insights.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Yes, and that was Lawyer Lodrick Chirchir, just helping us unpack some of the legal issues that came out from the judgment, or rather the verdict that was released by the 7 judges of the Supreme Court of Kenya yesterday. And that's where we call it a wrap. My name is Victor Wanaswa. Have a good day.